So do you know how much time you spend every week in the kitchen cooking and cleaning and basically feeding your family? Well, I didn't either until I did this little experiment. And I hypothesized that it is a part-time job, and guess what? I was right. So what I did is I kept a notebook here on my counter throughout the whole week, and every time I did something in the kitchen, whether it was cooking or cleaning up or putting away groceries, ordering groceries, basically anything that had to do with making food or feeding my family, I documented in this notebook. So as it turns out, when I tracked my time last week, I spent 18 hours in the kitchen over 7 days getting food ready for myself and my family. I also filmed everything. So in this video, I am going to take you through a week in my kitchen. Sunday morning, I started out by having some coffee, and I always feel like I have to clean up the kitchen before I start cooking breakfast. I can never start cooking in a dirty kitchen, and obviously this is probably something I should have done the night before. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and load the dishwasher, and I didn't really have a plan for breakfast this morning. Sometimes I do plan out breakfast on the weekends, but this was kind of a clean out the fridge day, and so I had some sausage patties that I had meal prepped and some fruit, and then a little bit of bacon grease that I had saved. I've got some whole wheat bread and some eggs, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and make eggs and toast with sausage for breakfast. So I'm gonna cook my eggs in a skillet, and then I had some watermelon left over, some blueberries, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add those to a bowl. And I went ahead and made Adam's breakfast first. I'm gonna show you what I'm eating a little bit later. We actually got a new toaster. It's the Beautiful brand toaster from Walmart. It's very, very good. I like it a lot. We needed a new toaster because ours was like almost 10 years old. So I'm just gonna make some over easy eggs, and I heated up the turkey sausage patties. These were ones that I showed you guys in a meal prep video a little while back. Some wheat toast and some fruit on the side. And then I found some hash browns in the fridge that I went ahead and cooked up for myself. So I had those with some cottage cheese and a sausage patty, and that was my breakfast on this Sunday morning. And of course, have to do some more cleaning up after breakfast because the dishes never end. I'd actually just filmed like a huge meal prep video the day before, so I had quite a bit of dishes to do. This was a watermelon that I didn't cut up part of it. This was actually left over from the 4th of July. And so I figured I would just go ahead and cut it up and get it in the fridge. That way we could eat it throughout the week. I always feel like if I have fruit ready to go, my kids are more likely to eat it, and Adam can take it to work, things like that. So cut up that watermelon, and then Connor got up and he was ready for some breakfast as well. So I put some bread in the toaster for him, and then I had some hard-boiled eggs also that I had prepped in the fridge. So I went ahead and gave him one of those along with some fruit and some toast. That is one theme I think that you'll find throughout this video, is that I do tend to spend more time in the kitchen on the weekends, but it actually does save me a lot of time during the week by having things that are kind of ready to go. And now, of course, it's time to go back to more dishes because those never end. And I guess I really didn't have to factor these in, but honestly, anytime I am cooking and making dirty dishes, cleanup is just part of it, right? And so I feel like that is part of feeding your family, is not just the cooking part, but also cleaning up the dishes and cleaning up the kitchen and everything that goes with that. So I also did some meal prep on this day, and these are just some meals that I prepped for Adam and I to have during the week for lunch. This is something that I don't necessarily do every single weekend, but I like doing it when I have the time because it makes it a lot easier to have like healthy, high protein lunches during the week. So this was a salmon dish that I put together. And then this one was some chicken with roasted carrots and rice. So was glad to have those in the fridge to have throughout this week. And that took me about an hour and a half to put those together, and I'll have a video coming soon on that. So for dinner on this evening, I'm gonna go ahead and start that. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon at this point, and I had some corn that I wanted to go ahead and get used up. I'm also gonna make some mashed potatoes, so I peeled my potatoes and I'm just rinsing those off. This is gonna be like an herb chicken recipe with kind of like an herb creamy sauce along with mashed potatoes and the corn. It was really good. Everyone liked it. I know it's always a struggle to try and find meals that everyone is going to eat without complaint, but everyone did eat this one. It was actually a HelloFresh meal that I had on hand and kind of modified and added the corn to it. So on my baking tray here, I just have some chicken breast that I patted dry, and then I seasoned those with salt, pepper, some ranch seasoning, and some olive oil, and those are going to get sauteed in a skillet. I'm going to cut up some green onions that I need for the dish. And then I just have my nonstick skillet heated up here with a little bit of olive oil. So I'm just going to saute those in the pan until basically the chicken is mostly cooked through, and then I removed those, wiped out the skillet, and then to make this sauce I just added some garlic and followed the recipe. It had like some cream cheese in it, some herbs, some lemon juice. Turned out really good. Once the sauce was done, I just added the chicken back in to finish cooking, and then I mashed the potatoes up with a little bit of butter and milk. This was a really good Sunday dinner. I would say Sunday dinner is the one time where I try and kind of make some type of like home style meal. I don't really know if that makes that makes sense, but I always try to cook something good for Sunday dinner. So that's what we had on this evening. It was good, and there were no leftovers. All right, so I'm cleaning up the kitchen after dinner, and I'm kind of starting to think about what I'm going to make for tomorrow for dinner. So this is what I came up with. So I have some asparagus in the fridge that I need to get used up. So I just put this in a Ziploc bag with some lemon juice, lemon zest, olive oil, salt, and pepper. And then I washed up these portobello mushrooms and removed the gills. I'm gonna marinate these and put these on the grill, but I'm not gonna put the mushrooms in the marinade yet, otherwise they'll get too mushy. And then I have some like salad greens I need to get used up. Like I have some arugula, I have iceberg in here somewhere. Oh, it's right here. Yeah. So I figured what I would do is season up some chicken breasts and do like grilled buffalo chicken salads. So I've got my, this is just like the dry Frank's Red Hot packet seasoning with some olive oil, and there's 4 chicken breasts in there. And I decided I'm going to start putting our dinner list on the fridge here so people can just come and see what we're going to have. And then I don't have to answer questions every day. Mom, what's for dinner? So this is what we had tonight. Tomorrow we'll have buffalo chicken salad. I'll grill some veggies. I think I also have some zucchini in there I can wash up and grill as well. And then I have some bread in the freezer I could bake. Found some zucchini in the fridge that they were looking a little bit questionable, but still salvageable. So I added those in there along with some extra seasoning. There's my mushrooms, and you know, it took me maybe like 10 minutes to do, but now that's gonna set me up, you know, so much further tomorrow for dinner. So my weekends are like full of dishwasher loading and unloading. Usually I load and unload my dishwasher at least 2 to 3 times a day on the weekends because I'm doing so much cooking. I do have a Bosch dishwasher, which I highly recommend. I use it a lot and it works perfect. And after that, I just went ahead and swept the floor and closed down the kitchen for the night. So overall on Sunday, I spent 5 hours and 15 minutes in the kitchen. So when it comes to feeding your family, obviously if you have kids, it's probably one of the most time-intensive things that you do every week, but there's a lot more to parenting than just cooking. One of the things that I think is the most challenging about being a parent now is social media and phones and how you let your kids interact with that. And that is where the sponsor of today's video comes in, Gabb Wireless. Gabb is the leader in safe smartphones and watches for kids, teens, and tweens. With no social media apps, no internet browser, and GPS tracking, Gabb devices were built from the ground up specifically for kids and teens and are the way to keep your kids safely connected. food. One of the things that I think is really challenging about having kids now is that when you let them go over to people's houses, no one has a house phone anymore. And so if they're at a friend's house, you know, either for a play date or spending the night, you want to provide a way for them to get a hold of you. And Gabb phones and watches are still tech that kids actually want. There's unlimited talk and text, a clean music streaming app, and over 100 third-party apps that can be installed at parents' discretion. Other safe device options or parental controls let you know what's already been accessed, but Gabb's phones and watches are built with smart filtration that proactively blocks harmful content before it even reaches your kid. Right now, Gabb is offering $25 off any device to new customers with no contract required. That's $25 off any Gabb smartphone or smartwatch. Just go to gabb.com/Chapin. That's where you're gonna get the best deal. So if you want your kids to be able to communicate with you and still be protected, Gabb is the way to go. Once again, I'll have that link in the description box below, so check that out for $25 off. So it's Monday morning and I'm heating up again some of those hash browns that I had left over in the fridge. I actually really like meal prepping hash browns, or sometimes I'll just make extra when I make breakfast on the weekend. They're super easy to heat up, and I'm having those with a turkey sausage patty and some cottage cheese for a high protein breakfast. And then for lunch, I heated up some of the meal prep tacos that I had prepped over the weekend. These were so good. I can't wait for you guys to see that video. And then I also had a little bit of time during my lunch break to just split up some chicken breast and get that in the freezer. So I'm making dinner. It's a little bit early. It's only 10 after 5, but I've been really liking to make dinner a little bit early in the summer so I can get more done in the evening. But I've got my sourdough bread in the oven. That's from Wild Grain. And then I went ahead and put these portobello mushroom caps in some marinade maybe about 20 minutes ago. So I just Googled a recipe and put together some balsamic vinegar, soy sauce, seasonings, and some olive oil. These are the veggies that I seasoned yesterday. And then here's our chicken breast. So I'm gonna grill those up. Not everyone's gonna like these, especially my daughter Kira, so I'm probably gonna do some hot dogs for her. And then I did have to go to Fairway earlier today to get some Diet Coke because we were totally out. And I saw these Edgewood Locker, I think it's like a local-ish company, Reuben and Swiss cheese flavored brats. So one of the things I really like to do is whenever I grill meat, I always do extra. So whether it's burgers or brats or chicken or anything like that, just because it's so easy, then you can use it for other dishes for meal prep during the week. And one thing I'm also gonna do, as these chicken breasts are done on the grill, I'm gonna brush them with some of this medium Buffalo Wild Wings sauce. One tip I have is if you're gonna do that on the grill, put your marinade or your brushing, whatever you're brushing on the meat, put it in a mason jar, because it's tall enough that even if you put a little bit in the bottom, your brush will stand up in it, and then you don't have like a shallow bowl with marinade. All right, so we've got our grill loaded up here. I went ahead and put the hot dogs and the portobello mushroom caps on the top rack just so they wouldn't burn. And then I love this grill basket. I'll link it down below. It works so well for grilling veggies like asparagus and zucchini and peppers and anything else that you want to grill. But everything turned out really good. And like I said, I always love grilling extra meat and vegetables because it is so easy to prep for different meals throughout the week. And then you kind of have components that you can use for other meals. So I had my buffalo chicken on a salad with some ranch and some blue cheese and some sliced green onions and then a piece of sourdough bread on the side. Overall, on Monday, I spent 2 hours and 5 minutes in the kitchen. All right, so it's Tuesday morning and Connor actually had to get up at a decent time today because he had basketball camp. So I'm just making him some toast and a hard-boiled egg for breakfast. I didn't eat breakfast, but for lunch, I made myself a Factor meal. These are such a freaking time saver for me during the week. I love having them for lunch. I'll leave my discount code down below. For dinner tonight, I'm trying a Marley spoon recipe, which is a new meal kit that I've been trying, and I will tell you guys about it in a future video, but I've really been loving it. This is the meal kit that's done by Martha Stewart, and even Kira was telling me the other day, she's like, I don't know that new meal kit that you've been trying, but these recipes have been really good. So this one was actually a shrimp and grits recipe, and this was a super long and busy day, and honestly, if we're being real, I am impressed with myself that I even cooked dinner on this day. This was definitely one of the days I could have been like, screw it. I had a terrible day. I don't have time. I'm going to stop at Subway and get dinner. But no, I knew I had this meal kit at home. So I went home and cooked dinner. Anyway, the moral of the story is that sometimes you just have to make yourself cook dinner. Sometimes there's no motivation. You just have to do it and the motivation will never come, but your family's fed and that is all that really matters. But as a bonus, this meal was actually very delicious and I didn't know if my kids would be super enthused with it. They do like shrimp, but sometimes they'll say like, oh, well, I only like breaded shrimp. And obviously this isn't breaded shrimp. And they have not had grits a whole lot. However, this meal was really good and I will definitely make some version of it again. Everyone ate it basically without complaint. Adam really liked it as well. We had some extra hot sauce on the side, but I thought the sauce was really unique. I've never made shrimp and grits like this before. Maybe it was like, basically it was like butter, sauteed green onion, Worcestershire sauce, lemons, and lemon juice. And then you basically just like take the shrimp and simmer it in the sauce. They're small shrimp, so they don't take that long to cook. And then I cooked up the grits with a little bit of water and butter. And then I added some shredded cheese in the end. And I didn't even make any sides to go with this. I just took whatever cut up fruit I had in the fridge and set it out. And bing, bang, boom, dinner was done. This was so quick to make. And then it's time to do the dishes. I actually don't mind doing dishes. As long as I can like put my AirPods in and watch a YouTube video or listen to a podcast, or actually this evening I was listening to music, so you can see my very bad dancing there. I seriously know I'm going to get some comments on this video about making my kids do dishes. And yes, I do make them do dishes. We do make them do dishes. In fact, they do it a lot when I'm gone traveling for work. So definitely no worries there. They all pitch in. They just don't want to be filmed. So overall on Tuesday, I spent 1 hour and 35 minutes in the kitchen. All right, good morning. I just totally realized that I forgot to film this, but I did make Adam some breakfast. Hi, Milo. I did make Adam some breakfast this morning and I totally forgot to film it. But I just made him an English muffin with some of this ham and some cheese and some eggs. And then I did pack his lunch also, but it was from a meal prep that I did this weekend. So literally all I had to do was pull it out of the fridge. So it literally took me like 10 minutes. This is what I'm gonna be making for dinner tonight. It's another one of the recipes from the Marley Spoon box that I got. So it's baked tilapia with peas and potatoes. So everyone should love that. And if I didn't already say so, the shrimp that we had, the shrimp and grits we had last night was delicious. All right, so here's what I'm having for lunch today. I'm just having one of these factor meals because it needs to be eaten by today. This is the cilantro chicken with brown rice, black beans, and spicy corn. Very delicious. I also just heated up a little tortilla. These are like the street taco tortillas. There was one left, so I heated that up. I added a little bit of shredded cheese. So I'm gonna go get back to work and eat this. Connor's at basketball camp, so he'll eat later when he gets home, and Kara will make herself something. All right, so it's about 4:50 in the evening and I'm gonna go ahead and start putting dinner together. So I went ahead and rinsed and dried my tilapia. I scrubbed up my potatoes. This is definitely something that our whole family likes. Anytime I do like fish or like fried fish or baked fish or fish cakes or some type of like mild fish, usually everyone likes it. Actually, Adam doesn't like salmon. So typically when I'm trying to make something the whole family wants, I have to use some type of white fish. Anyway, I went ahead and cut up the potatoes and I'm just putting them on a baking sheet. I drizzled them with olive oil, some salt, and I just like to toss them to make sure that everything is coated evenly. And then I do take the time to arrange the potatoes so that one of the flat sides is down on the baking sheet and then flip them halfway through. That makes them more crispy. This box also came, or this meal kit also came with a bunch of little cornichon pickles, and there was like a homemade tartar sauce recipe. It was so good. So I went ahead and finally minced those up, put them in a bowl, and then they also sent some fresh dill, which was delicious. I think this is probably a good point for me to talk a little bit about how I use meal kits. I know that a lot of times people think of them as a luxury, and I would agree that they are. However, you can actually use them strategically in a way that allows you to like try new ones for very, very cheap and get a box of food like very, very cheap to feed your family for a couple nights, especially if you're like a new customer and you're trying them out. And it's also a great way to kind of lessen the mental load in terms of trying to figure out what's for dinner, because the recipe is just sent to you. All of the ingredients are sent to you. It's like a dream not to have to think about what to make for dinner. So once the potatoes were in the oven, I took the tilapia and put it on a parchment lined baking sheet. I spread some mayonnaise on the fillets, and then as you can see, I also toasted the panko breadcrumbs in a skillet with a little bit of olive oil, and I'm just topping those before I put them into the oven. The peas I'm heating up in a skillet, and these actually called for some mint mixed in with them. I've read recipes for that before, but I've never tried it. That's another point I think about like trying meal kits, is that it really lets you try new flavors that you wouldn't normally put together, and those peas were really good. So you can see here we've got our potatoes done, our fish done. This turned out so good. So we had the baked fish with the panko breadcrumbs, the tartar sauce. I put a lemon wedge on the side. Potato wedges turned out delicious, and the peas, yum yum. Totally recommend that dinner. Overall on Wednesday, I spent 3 hours and 10 minutes in the kitchen. Thursday was such a seriously busy day, I didn't even film. You can see here on the screen, my total was 40 minutes, which consisted of 30 minutes of ordering groceries on my phone and 10 minutes of making Connor breakfast. Yes, it was a crazy day. I had to take Kira to driver's ed, take Connor to basketball camp, and then of course get all my work done and everything else. It was nuts. Okay, so I guess now is a good time to talk about the inspiration for this video, and that is this video by Mike over at Pro Home Cooks. It's called How I Cook Every Meal for the Week, Family of 4. I actually watched this video and I took a lot of inspiration from it, and this is how I decided to come up with the concept for this video. So I'll link his original video down below. So if you've never watched Mike's channel before, I actually really recommend it. He makes a lot of great videos for home cooks, and he also does a lot of gardening. I watch every single video on his channel, and it's really, really great content. However, I had to take a look at the comments on this video, and we're going to discuss them right now. What a dream. She cooks 5% of the time. Seriously, my husband hasn't cooked in 15 years. Welcome to the world of the vast majority of moms in the USA. Hey Mike, you deserve Husband of the Year. Why? Moms do this every day, every year. This is great, but best husband of the year is just how low the bar lays for men, that you see one do the same stuff women do, then suddenly, quote, the best is just weird. It takes so little for men to get a, quote, award when women do all the backbreaking work every day without any appreciation. And I'm showing this one just because I thought it was funny. It says, holy shit. Yeah, I'm never having kids. So what do you guys think? I want to hear in the comments below. Do you think that society sees it differently when they see a male or a dad doing these kinds of tasks versus a female or a mom? I looked online to see if I could find some more information on this, and I found this interesting article, which I'll link down below. But it says, in 2023, congressional dads became a multi-week international news sensation after posing for pictures while caring for their infants. Fawning adoration was heaped on the fathers for their deft parenting skills as they navigated the delayed swearing in of the 118th Congress. We all know if that situation was a bunch of mothers with babies hanging around Congress, the narrative would have been around why hadn't they arranged childcare, and if they were committed enough to be a congressperson, which I totally agree with. So let's discuss in the comments below. So on Friday morning, I did spend about 30 minutes putting away groceries, the ones that I had ordered the night before. I did not film that, however, so I started filming at lunchtime. I can't even actually remember when I ate on this day, but apparently I made the kids some frozen pizza, and then I cut up some fresh pineapple that we had on hand. This is what we're going to be having for dinner on this evening on Friday. We typically do pizza nights on Friday, but Connor was going to be having a sleepover the next day, and so we wanted to wait for pizza night until then so he could have pizza with his friends. And so I'm making this chicken Milanese meal again from Marley Spoon. I decided to make some roasted potatoes on the side because I didn't know how enthused my kids would be about arugula salad, but I knew they would love the chicken cutlets. So I just got some washed potatoes from the grocery store. That saves a ton of time. Cut them up into wedges, put them on a sheet tray with parchment paper. some olive oil and salt and roasted those in the oven. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start making the vinaigrette for the arugula salad. If you've never had chicken Milanese, it's basically just like a thin chicken cutlet, and then you typically serve it with some type of like a cool salad. There's this one Italian restaurant in Iowa City that Adam and I go to quite often that makes a delicious one. And so when I saw this recipe on the app, I was like, oh, I have to get this. So I made a little bit of garlic aioli with some minced garlic, some mayo, some Dijon, lemon zest, salt, and pepper. And that actually went really well with both the chicken and the potatoes. One thing I would say is that this particular meal from the Marley Spoon meal kit took quite a while. Well, I don't want to say it took quite a while. I would say it was one of the more involved dishes that I made from the box this week. However, I do kind of look at the time it takes to prepare the meals. I find that the times on the recipe cards are pretty accurate. So if I know it's going to be a week where I'm in a time crunch, a lot of times I'll pick like the ones that call for a really short preparation time. Anyway, after I got the chicken breast dried and rinsed off and dried, I put it in a Ziploc bag and pounded it thin. You just want them to be kind of thin and all about the same thickness. Season them with salt and pepper. And then I'm going to go ahead and dip these chicken breasts in flour that I seasoned with salt and pepper, some egg that I beat with a little bit of water, and some panko breadcrumbs. While the chicken is shallow frying, I am going to go ahead and put my sliced cucumbers into the bottom of the bowl of the vinaigrette that I made. Those can marinate for a little while, but I want to put the arugula on top of this, and then I'm not going to toss it together until the last minute because arugula is a little bit delicate and you just want to make sure that you don't dress it too far ahead of time or it will wilt. I also had some Parmesan cheese, so I went ahead and shaved some of that in there. And then after my chicken breasts were fully breaded, I just heated up some canola oil in a skillet and did a shallow fry on those. Just make sure that you season them with a little bit of salt when they come out of the oil. Just like fries or anything else, you want to season anything when it comes out of the fry oil. It will taste much better that way. I'm going to go ahead and give my salad a toss, and then I went ahead and served this with that aioli and the potatoes and the arugula salad and lemon on the side. This was so good. It was probably our favorite meal of the week. 10 out of 10. Good morning and happy Saturday. It's 9:30 in the morning and my first stop is the post office. Next up, I gotta go to the bank quick. Okay, so I'm down here at the farmer's market. This is my first time coming this year, which is pretty sad since it's like mid-July, but it looks big this year, so I'm excited to see what they have. Oh my God, it's hot. It's hot out there. You ever eat cheese enchiladas for breakfast from the farmer's market in your car? Nope, neither have I, but here we are. They had like a Mexican food stand. I freaking love cheese enchiladas. Anyway, I did get some eggs and some produce and a couple other things. Not a lot of produce right now. I think probably a lot of it goes early, and you know, later in the summer it's probably gonna be more available. What I really like to do is come down here and get a shit ton of tomatoes and make homemade marinara sauce that I can jar and freeze. I usually don't can it, I usually just freeze it and then have it until it runs out. All right, I'm gonna sit here in my car in the AC, eat my food, and then I think we're gonna run to the store. Connor needs some new shirts, some shorts. Here's my tiny little farmer's market haul. Not very much. I did pick up a muskmelon because that was one of the pieces of produce that I thought looked really good. A big zucchini, some tomatoes. So what I'm planning to do is make a pico de gallo out of some of these tomatoes, and then these are like tiny little jalapeno peppers and this onion, and then these yellow tomatoes I'm probably going to use for like a caprese burrata situation. And then there was somebody selling these flavored salts, which I thought would be really good on the tomatoes, especially the basil one. So this is what they look like inside. And then this one is a garlic salt. It smells like super, super good. And And then I think I got a jar of these sweet pickles. They're called lunch pickles last year. And I made some macaroni salad. Well, we use them for other things too, but one thing I used them for was to make macaroni salad, because the recipe I used for macaroni salad calls for sweet pickles and sweet pickle juice, and these are really good homemade ones. So we'll go next week and see if they have some more. Hopefully maybe earlier this time, and maybe I'll get some better finds. So on Saturday, we ended up getting pizza, like I said before, because Connor had a sleepover, so I only spent about 1 hour doing food-related things, including shopping at the farmer's market. But overall, in total, this week came out to 18 hours spent in the kitchen, you know, cooking / cleaning / feeding my family, which is a little over 2.5 hours per day. So I thought this experiment was really eye-opening. And if you yourself actually are the primary cook for your family doing this week after week, they should definitely let you know how much they appreciate you, because objectively it's a lot of work. So I'd love to have you guys comment in the comments below and let me know if you think that you spend more time in the kitchen each week or less time in the kitchen each week. Either way, I think that feeding a family is a huge undertaking, and anyone who does it and tries to cook at home most of the time, which is what I try to do, if you do that, you deserve a huge round of applause. And if your family or your partner doesn't thank you and appreciate you for that, I'm here today to tell you thank you. And I see you. I know what you do. I know that a lot of it is invisible labor, and especially for women, I feel like a lot of what we do goes unnoticed. So I see you, girl. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's video. Don't forget to check out Gab Wireless. If you're looking for a cell phone or a smartwatch for your kids, you can get $25 off with my link. And if you want to see how I tested Joshua Wiseman's 1 hour meal prep and how it actually took me 4 hours, you can click on this video right here.